down. And the reason that they have to give us the bridge is because they're boycotting some American products. Now, if that's all you know, then maybe that seems reasonable. I mean, it wouldn't be. But they're boycotting the products because of the tariffs he put on them. So do you see how self-destructive and circular this is? That he mistreats the Canadians, so they do the obvious, predictable, and predicted thing, which is they do their own tariffs. And then he uses that as a justification to try to screw them over once again. I will remind you, all of this traces back to the fact that he was unsatisfied with the trade deal that he himself negotiated with Canada to replace NAFTA, even though it was very similar. He wanted to be able to declare victory during his first term. And then once he comes to the second term, he pretends as if we don't have a trade deal with them and immediately starts launching tariffs every time like his blood sugar spikes. And so yeah, some Canadians have responded by not wanting to buy our products. You know what the solution to that is? You know how you get them to start buying our spirits? Stop fighting with them. Stop claiming you're gonna make them the 51st state. Stop launching tariffs over literally nothing. Stop trying to steal their bridges and maybe they'll take down the tariffs. Meanwhile, by the way, half of the economic value generated in terms of tolls and all that from the bridge is going to go to America. He is lying to you about that to justify this insane thing where he's gonna steal the bridge. But as dumb as all that is, as self-destructive as all that is, it's also potentially, as with everything else, corrupt. Because there's another bridge that's nearby, okay? And that is actually owned, you can see the nearby Ambassador Bridge, graphic 3, one of the current busiest border crossings on the continent, has been privately owned for decades by a Detroit trucking industry billionaire and his family. They are a family that has called on him to halt construction of this bridge because they don't want to share traffic over it. That family, by the way, has given $100,000 to Republicans in the past. And so is it really about the spirits? Is it really about his fight? Or is this just him paying back yet another donor and potentially screwing over American companies who really would like to have this border crossing so they could sell more products and American consumers could buy more products a little bit easier, maybe a little bit cheaper. But screw all of that. This one billionaire family wants to shut a bridge down so they can continue to benefit individually. Anyway, we'll continue to see what happens with this. I imagine he's not gonna shut it down. It is technically possible for him to do so, but I have a feeling that judges would have an issue with it. Anyway, that's gonna be all the time we have for today's show. Thank you for joining me for this John Solo show. Tomorrow is gonna be Big News Wednesday. Sharon Reed's gonna be here. On Thursday, we're gonna have Luke Beasley, which is always a lot of fun. And Friday is gonna be your last chance to see Brett for the rest of the month. So definitely tune in for that. For now though, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Reed. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day with me, none other than the incomparable Sharon Reed. Always fascinating to have her brilliance in the program. Well, top story of the day, Epstein files, Donald Trump files, Epstein files, Trump files. Let's go to it. Here it is.
We have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring. It is time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. So I want people to be very clear-eyed. They are playing games right now, and again, this is all about shielding and distracting from the President of the United States, who is absolutely mentioned in those files. And frankly, we know that he had already been sued prior to him ever entering office, where there were allegations that he sexually molested a child. This is on the record. So I want people to understand that House Democrats, we are gonna be on their ass. Like, that's just the reality.
And what is your message to President Trump in that case?
Same thing. We're gonna be on his ass.
Leave it to a Black woman to make the ethical and moral argument clear. Not the wordology that has been used by both Democrats and Republicans prior, the shielding techniques that have gone unchecked by Democratic leadership primarily. Republicans, feckless cowards, have no backbone. Trump proved that. Trump won. They damn sure don't have one. Trump too. Put it up full mass. Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna spoke as well. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So a small group of lawmakers are reviewing the newly unredacted Epstein files. They are becoming increasingly, irritated with the Department of Justice and their, cover-up. The cover-up includes powerful men implicated in these Epstein files. What are the Epstein files? It's a child sex trafficking ring. On day one, I say it very clearly right here on Indisputable. There is no person who can organize, oversee, and execute a ring of this magnitude without muscle, without co-conspirators, without distribution opportunity, etc. So we can call it the Epstein files. That's the brand and the category. That is to dissuade you from actually looking deeper. Remember, initially they said there was no file. Now, there are many coming out on a semi-regular basis. So Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie both spoke on the record. Here it is.
But what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find them. Then I'll let you talk about what you saw.
Well, and we discussed that. I mean, there are 6 men, some of them with their photographs that have been redacted, and there's no explanation why those people were redacted. And Thomas discovered it through his MIT logic with some of the searches. But, that's really concerning.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen. At least one is a foreigner. And the other 3 or 4 have names. I'm not sure if they're foreign or U.S.
And which field do they work in? Is it finance, banking, political?
One is pretty high up in a foreign government.
And some are, they're, one of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6 are just what we found in 2 hours of a review of the files that aren't redacted. The broader issue is why so many of the files they're getting are redacted in the first place.
Ro Khanna, I love you, dear brother. That is not the broader issue. The broader issue are the people who are being protected, not redacted from a document. That is an administrative element. The cover-up is quite massive if we are to believe what you and Massey just said, as clumsy as you both did. Put her a full mask. This is the person who has the receipts, right? In a news conference, Raskin said he saw redacted pages in which Epstein's lawyer quoted Trump as saying that Epstein was a guest at Mar-a-Lago and that he, quote, had never been asked to leave. Yesterday, Epstein's co-conspirator, Maxwell, decided to plead the Fifth before the House Oversight Committee. Quote, only she can provide the complete account, end quote, of Epstein's actions, David Oscar Marcus said in a statement after Maxwell's brief virtual appearance before the panel in the morning, where she invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Ironically, she has already been convicted of the crimes. Double jeopardy is attached. She cannot be convicted again. But there's another element, a loophole, an opportunity that Trump himself can create with the wave of a pen for her in order to get to the truth of the matter. Quote, some may not like what they hear, but the truth matters. This is a quote. For example, both President Trump and President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Ms. Maxwell alone can explain why, and the public is entitled to that explanation, Marcus said, sharing what he said he told the panel. Her lawyer says she would be willing to cooperate. Oh, here we go. With the panel's probe if President Trump grants her clemency and would testify that the president is, quote, innocent of any wrongdoing, end quote. Trump has not publicly ruled out granting Maxwell a pardon, even though she admitted to engaging in predatory behavior against children. Quote, I haven't thought about it for months. Maybe I haven't thought about it at all. End quote. He told reporters on Air Force One in November, quote, I don't talk about that. I don't rule it in or out. He said then. The insanity of it all. Just a reminder that the previous Supreme Court ruling, while it does protect the commander-in-chief, the president, from, criminal indictment, it doesn't protect anyone else. And it also doesn't protect the president to the point of impeachment. Impeachment becomes the methodology, according to the Supreme Court, in which you must criminally charge a standing president of the United States. Democrats, where are you? All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Yeah, it's you said a lot, but it's what you said at the very beginning that I think deserves even more doubling down on. No one could conduct this kind of ring, this child predator ecosystem, if you will, unless it was broad, it was set up somewhere in the top echelon and carried out and protected. And I predict that when this president who wants to be a king pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, he'll have cover from others. He will not get anyone in power besides Roe and a couple of others saying, oh, well, how dare you do that? If it is, it'll be feigned, because it's protecting this ecosystem. And if you wonder why she is sitting behind bars, now she probably is likely ordering DoorDash or Uber Eats in the comfy position she's in, but able to call the shots. This is why. Because as long as she's breathing and can speak, she can say a lot.
A whole lot. I'm just getting an update, Sharon, from producers. Jordan, come back for me. Do we have Rokana giving us the names? Okay, let's go to that and breaking news. Here it is.
In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake. And now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI.
Wow. We knew it was explosive, and we understood that there are rabbit holes here that are worth going down for the sake of, our conscience, our ability to move forward as a political body, as a nation, and also as a culture. Sharon, what are your thoughts after hearing that?
I'm grateful to Rokana and Representative Massey. Yes, Massey, because it seems like these 2 men. Well, although you were right to point out, let's keep our eye on the ball, Ro, in the beginning of the segment. But these 2 men are not dropping it. Okay, and as I think Representative Garcia said, we're just getting started. We'll let you know, Pam Bondi, when we're finished here. And I think something else that you said, it's the Epstein files, but I think you called it this child predator ring. That's how I would like to refer to it more and more, because words matter. And in busy lives and the American people who are constantly under a barrage of nonsense and assault, that breaks through. Somebody took our children and violated them. Sick pigs did this. And I think the more we can refer to it in the most defining terms, the better, Doc.
That's right. And some of those victims are still living, vocal.
That's right.
Will tell you what happened, hold press conferences, they stand with lawmakers, and some of them have sued these billionaires. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come. We have a major update. So there's a cop who murdered a homeless man, and I'm using the word properly, was charged, was out on bond, was able to travel anywhere he chose. Put it up for a mask. An ex-cop who killed a homeless man, an unsheltered man, traveled freely despite an arrest warrant being active. Former LAPD officer Clifford Proctor, who was wanted by the authorities for murder for an entire year, traveled internationally and lived in Los Angeles despite a warrant of his arrest. Here's Proctor, picture. According to the report, he killed an unarmed, unsheltered man while on duty in 2015. Former LAPD officer was able to fly in and out of the country with an active warrant several times, by the way. He was able to live freely in Southern California for more than a year, despite an active warrant for his arrest in the 2015 killing of an unsheltered man. According to his defense attorney and the LA County prosecutors leading his pending murder case. Now, they want you to believe that this was just an oversight, okay? Him being a cop had nothing to do with this. Him killing someone who may not have had socioeconomic influence to the caliber of those prosecuting him had nothing to do with this. How in the hell does something like this happen? Because typically, if you have a warrant for that kind of crime, you're on every database for travel, for getting an updated passport, to catching the bus. A grand jury indicted Officer Proctor, age 60, September 2024. You know how hard it is to get an indictment on a cop for somebody who's unsheltered at that? After the district attorney's office reopened an investigation into the shooting death of Brendan Glenn, Proctor shot Glenn, who was only 29 years of age, twice in the back during an attempted arrest in 2015 in Venice Beach. Mr. Glenn was unarmed. Proctor, who resigned from the LAPD in 2017, was not arrested until last October, when he was detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents in Los Angeles International Airport. Law enforcement sources previously told the Times that Proctor was actually returning to the country from an international flight when CBP arrested him on the murder warrant. There's more. In a November court filing, Officer Proctor's defense attorney, Tom Yu, provided exhibits and sworn statements showing that his client had been in the U.S. and was planning to depart the country on the day he was arrested. Travel documents included as an exhibit in a court filing show Proctor was scheduled to fly from Los Angeles to Panama City, October 16th, 2025. A sworn declaration from Proctor's wife submitted to the court by his lawyer shows he has flown internationally to the Caribbean island, Trinidad, 4 times since 2024, when the indictment was handed down. During the time he wasn't traveling, Proctor was living in LA County, according to the attorney, who said the DA's office never made an attempt to arrest the ex-cop. Keep in mind, he has an active warrant out for his arrest for murder. Now, we've seen SWAT kick in the door of a grandmother's home because they believe somebody sold narcotics out of that domicile. Didn't happen, but because of one potential drug sale, SWAT will come find you, tear up your structure, arrest you, turn your life upside down, and not think a second thought. This man had an active warrant out for his arrest for actual murder. There's more. Greg Risley, a spokesperson for the Los Angeles County DA's office, confirmed investigators monitored, and this is their wording, monitored Proctor's home in Carson in October 2024. But by the time his arrest was authorized, Risling said, Proctor was nowhere to be found. So wait a minute, sir. How do you lose someone who's under surveillance? You said he was being monitored. Why is he being monitored? Is he a flight risk? If he was a flight risk, why did you all not request or require that he not be granted bail? If he's a flight risk and you have him under surveillance, how was he able to leave the country? You obviously knew an arrest warrant was coming because you had him under, well, monitoring. There's more. Prosecutors soon learned that Proctor had flown to Trinidad as part of a trip that he planned earlier in the year. According to the spokesperson, Proctor was supposed to re-enter the U.S. through Miami in late October 2024. The spokesperson said, so investigators went to Florida to arrest him, according to their report. Quote, it was later determined that Mr. Proctor had canceled that return flight, and it is unknown as to the reason why. So where did Proctor go? Well, he went home. He went back to LA County. They could have found him in LA County because Florida is the place that they're most familiar with coming from California. V. James D. Simone, an attorney representing Glenn's family, issued a statement on Monday expressing shock about Officer Proctor's ability to travel freely. Quote, it's extraordinary that someone with a murder warrant was allowed to live in his home and travel internationally for a year through America's airports, he said. Quote, you have to wonder whether a murder suspect who is not a former cop would have been treated the same way, end quote. Law enforcement experts say it is unusual for anyone wanted on a murder charge to have an arrest warrant pending for a year, especially while often traveling overseas. Proctor's warrant should have been automatically flagged by a U.S. Department of Homeland Security database whenever he entered or left the country, according to Nima Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor. I'm going to give you my opinion as to why that didn't happen in just a moment. Quote, he was here in the U.S. What happened to all of 2025? He was here. Did they just let the year skip? Sorry, we forgot, said you, a former LA County Sheriff's deputy who described the failure to act on a murder warrant as reckless. A CBP spokesperson said agents encountered Proctor several times at airports outside the state of California after the indictment was handed down. However, the terms of the warrant prevented them from making an arrest. The terms of the warrant for murder prevented them from making an arrest. The warrant was restricted to, quote, in-state pick-up only and did not permit extradition to California, said the spokesperson. So now we're getting to the cause and effect. It's called a non-extradition warrant. What's a non-extradition warrant? Well, not supposed to be for killers, all right? That's supposed to be for traffic tickets. Non-extradition warrant. You go to California, you get a ticket, you don't go to court, you got a warrant out for your arrest for failure to appear, FTA. The court says, all right, if they come back to California, give them bracelets, lock them up. However, if they're outside of California, it's a non-extradition warrant. Why? Because the resources it would require in order to get somebody back to California on a failure to appear for a traffic citation doesn't make good judicial sense. And so they file it as non-extradition. That is never filed for people who are indicted for murder. So somebody looked out for them. The district attorney's office said it was not made, or it has not made a final decision on taking Proctor to trial. He is due back in court next month. Proctor was released from custody last November on a $100,000 bail. At a recent court hearing, You requested a judge allow Proctor to travel to Seattle for work. The DA's office made no objection. Once again, it's insane. So how do you evade authorities when your name is in a database? I'm not saying he did this. I'm speculating as to how it would happen. You would utilize a fake ID. That's how you would do it. Okay. Sharon, thoughts here.
With help on the inside, I don't know if it's the criminal kind of help, but this is really stinks. Okay. And had he not been a one-time cop and instead a gardener or a nanny, I wonder if they would have, somebody would have been looking out for him.
Right.
But then you also have the victim, the unhoused in this case. So no harm, no foul, just an unhoused person who was murdered, Doc. So nothing to see here. There should be more shame. There should be shame. Look at the quotes you just read for us from the district attorney's office. It's just kind of like shoulder shrug, whatever.
Yeah.
Unhoused, something. Both teams played hard. Ridiculous.
And it doesn't seem as if they're putting up a fight for prosecution.
No.
Their response is quite ridiculous. This man globetrotted across the whole damn planet and only came in because somebody else brought him in. The DA's office never brought him in. If it was up to the DA's office, he may still be at his home or traveling to the Caribbean. All right, we'll bring you updates on this. A soul is a soul, a person is a person, a human being is a human being, period. And everybody deserves dignity and justice if they have been criminally assaulted, harmed in any way, or God forbid, murdered, period. All right. There's an incarcerated pregnant woman who experienced a stillbirth, okay, while being incarcerated. And due to negligence, according to the report, the unthinkable happened. Put it up for a man. For 6 days, a Black woman pleaded corrections officers in New York jail, in a New York jail, that her water broke. She pleaded. They ignored her for 6 days. For 6 days. And that negligence led to a tragic story, the baby's death. You're looking at 35-year-old Sharon Reed. Miss Bird, who has been in jail since 2022 for petty larceny, was in labor. Water broke 6 days. She pleaded with corrections officers from an upstate New York jail cell where her water broke and she was going into labor. She told them she needed to be transported to the hospital to give birth to her premature baby. But the officers chose not to believe the 35-year-old Black woman who had been arrested for misdemeanor death, dismissing her complaints while calling her a liar, giving her some Tylenol and a tampon instead of transporting her to the hospital. My baby's coming out, she said. Bird repeatedly yelled this to the jail staff, who continued to ignore her. Other inmates also called for help because those other incarcerated individuals, they have a heart. They can see the humanity in others because they have not lost humanity themselves. They tried to help, but to no avail. Miss Bird ended up giving birth to a baby girl named Ayana Bird inside of her cell after damn near a whole week of labor. Then they transported her to the hospital. And her baby was pronounced dead. an hour later. Last month, Ms. Bird was awarded a $100,000 settlement after a state investigation determined correction officers, nurses, and the doctor, which were all responsible. This was named one of the worst jails in New York State by the State Commission of Correction. They even said this was simple negligence and extreme negligence. But it's not new at that institution. There's more. According to the report from the commission, this is one of their own. The Medical Review Board has found that medical care and treatment of Ms. Bird during her incarceration was both deficient and negligent and may have led to her child's death. The board has found that Bird was not properly assessed nor timely transferred to a hospital over the course of 6 days, during which she made multiple reports of being in labor. The board opines that had Ms. Bird been provided with proper medical care, the baby's premature birth and death could have been prevented. They killed this child, according to the commission report. The lawsuit filed by Bird accused the officers, nurses, and the doctor of several violations, including denial of basic human needs, deprivation of rights, wrongful death, medical malpractice, negligence, as well as violating the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. I'm going to give you some details on the incarceration because it's important to understand the context of this. These officers are looking at a woman in labor. She's innocent. She's an innocent human being. She's in for misdemeanor, petty larceny. Bird, who was diagnosed with mental illness at the age of 12, was jailed on July 1st, 2022, on a warrant for misdemeanor larceny that usually stems from shoplifting. Okay, that's typically the charge if you steal something. And for many states, the price is under $250. It's a misdemeanor. But she was unable to afford the $5,000 bond. And so she remained incarcerated for more than a month until she gave birth to her daughter on August 2nd, 2022. Why was she in jail? She was in jail because she didn't have $5,000. She was in jail because her socioeconomic reality, which is a policy issue and not a personal issue, didn't have the kind of influence that perhaps some of those corrections officers may have had, or the medical doctor, or the nurses. She's in jail because she doesn't have 5 stacks to give the government. Now, granted, she's given the government way more than that over the course of her lifetime. It's called taxes. But she didn't have 5,000. So because of that, and because of the way our criminal justice system works, she has to sit in jail for a misdemeanor while being pregnant. And then she's tortured as her child is being neglected medically and died. 5,000. Quote, the board questions whether the repeated dismissing of Bird's complaints by the medical staff was due to what? Racism. They don't say racism, they say implicit bias. Due to implicit bias of a person with serious and persistent mental illness, whereby attributing her reports to being in labor as a behavior. It's because she's Black, she's a woman, she has a mental health issue. It's all 3. It's all of them. Everybody ignored her? Everybody. Every cop, every officer ignored her. You got to think about how many shift changes. You got 3 shift changes a day. You have 6, almost 7 days. You have multiple teams, including a nursing team. You have a medical doctor who's the director of the medical provider who had to make the call to ignore her. You have multiple nurses, multiple medical providers. All of them were on the same page. All right, jail staff downplayed the severity of the situation because of her mental health. One detention officer told the women, quote, that Miss Bird is crazy. She's always complaining. Nothing wrong with her. Another detention officer rejected one of the woman's urgent requests to help Miss Bird and said that he would only call an ambulance once he saw a baby. Well, that's exactly what they did. Sharon, I'm gonna let you take this one. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, it is. The set of facts that you've laid out are more than disturbing. And I'm sure malpractice encompasses a lot of things, the legal definition of it, but I don't see malpractice here. I see murder. I actually see willful misconduct and murder here. They didn't just, assess her and get it wrong, a bad doctor or a bad nurse, somebody who's not good at their job. That's not what happened here. They ignored her. And her mental state has nothing to do with the baby that was emerging from her womb. There's nothing to do with it. I can appreciate that one of the few times we're getting some strong language and, you read the assessment here, but again, use racism, not bias. Let's talk about what it is. Racism against people of a certain color, people of a certain mental capacity, all of that, okay? It's not okay. But I think this is criminal and disgusting. And this was a deadly prediction. By behaving the way they behaved, you can predict one's death. That's how I heard it and can't unhear it. And now a child, Ayana, will never get the opportunity because of sickos who acted in concert, okay? There wasn't one person who was jumping up and down like you or I would have on the job and said, I'm not participating in this. I'm getting help. Not one person? What do you need for a conspiracy here? To kill a child and gravely perhaps injure a mother.
Yeah, it's completely unbelievable. And all being done while accepting taxpayer money to serve and protect. We'll bring updates as they come. We got more on the other side. Indisputable. Stick to stay.
Damn it, they failed us. And if you're not angry about that, Michael, and any of you out there, then you're damn wrong. Because you should be angry. Young Turks.
It was genuine. He was mad.
Cenk Uygur, known online as one of the Young Turks, isn't afraid to throw some punches.
3, 2, 1, fade up.
Cenk the Turk Uygur.
What kind of TV station is this? The whole point is for me to yell and scream and tell you what I think.
It was right out of like Wayne's World.
This guy on this little rinky-dink website is speaking truth to power.
We've been averaging 600,000 views a day, beating most of the cable shows in America.
We're the largest online news show in the world.
We're celebrating our 1 billionth view.
Television, we're coming.
More politics ahead with Cenk Uygur.
He knew that the MSNBC opportunity was an experiment.
And fill and host beat CNN and headline news combined. At some point, they want to give me a show.
Every single year, that comes out of our paycheck. We put it in, and you're saying we were suckers.
When you, as a host, tells someone you're interviewing to shut up, that's going to raise a red flag.
That guy needed a tall glass of shut up juice.
If President Obama's doing the wrong thing, I'm not going to tell you that he's doing the right thing so I can, quote, support him.
He says to me, "You won't believe the meeting that I just had."
The head of MSNBC talked to me.
They want him off the air.
Cenk took an incredible risk.
We're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media. The Democrats and the Republicans are here to screw you. And who on the air is saying it?
I wouldn't have done what he did.
That if I'm going to be a talk show host, I should be the biggest talk show host in the country. I don't think anyone else does it better. I don't think anyone's even close.
Before you know it, I'll be back on your TV doing a national show. I guarantee it.
Magic. It's showtime. And say, 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now, I know what you're thinking. JR, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago, when I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show. I had to go through like finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. This idea. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial how to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized. That's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up. Couple streaks. This is the guy way of putting on makeup. We got dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. You know, say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. I'm very thankful for everyone's comments. I'll read as many as I can. All right. Yep. Christina, Alyssa Brown, just whatever Sharon says, that's what I say. There you go. That's kind of how our friendship works, actually.
Is he single? Are they single? Who said it, Doc? If you could forward the information.
It's Miss Christina Brown. Yes.
Well, I could use a good girlfriend, too.
There you go, right?
Yeah, thank you. It just only
nice.
people could get that right. Thank you.
Must be nice, Sharon. All right. And V Brown, 7436, they're more outraged about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl than the pedophile. Make it make sense. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. And ironically, they're authentically more upset about the Super Bowl. They're not gaslighting. They have real feelings about that. Spider-Man Dragon, LA Police. We live above the law. From the King beatings for today, LA Police is a mob ring. Time to break them down. And that's interesting. Disruptor Puss says, the only thing that surprises me is that he hasn't got a promotion yet. Yeah. That's right, V Brown 7436. The prison system is modeled after the plantation. Yeah, all of law enforcement is modeled after slave master and property dynamic. That is correct. Edward Gilbert, 3232. If Black women are going to be arrested for having miscarriages, then that entire staff should be arrested and charged with fatal homicide. Yeah, and there's a statute, it's called negligent homicide. When you may not have had a criminal intent, but you engage in such negligent behavior that we can input the criminal charge because you should have known something like this could happen, given the level of neglect you engaged in. All right, got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
I
not touch me. You better not touch me. You better not touch me. You better not touch me, bitch. Call the 911. Oh, they're on their way. Trust me. They're on their way. You got them. They're coming. They're coming. Trust me.
Oh, this is OG Karen. Okay. So she attacks the black female and then cries victim immediately as if somebody attacked her. Well, fortunately, at Indisputable, we have the whole video. Let's take it to the beginning and see what actually happened here.
So I'm gonna go ahead and record you since you made a comment like that. I'm gonna find you though. You not supposed. Please. You just attacked me. You just attacked me. What happened? Like, are you crazy? Hold on. You're attacking me. You're trying to attack me, so I will call the police. So I called the police. You better not touch me. You better not touch me. You better not touch me. You better not touch me, bitch. Call the 911. Oh, they're on their way. Trust me. They're on their way. You got them. They're coming. They're coming. Trust me.
Put it a full man. Usually people play into that stereotype because they are aware of it. And I'm talking about the weaponization of their tears, crying victim after victimizing somebody else. The likelihood that a stranger or a cop will believe her rather than the black woman. Okay? All of that plays into this moment that you just saw. The poster of the video was an aunt who brought her niece to a park in Texas, and this encounter happened. Here's what the aunt alleged about the incident. Quote, today, February 8th, in Pearland, Texas, at Ed Thompson Inclusive Park. Yes, that's the name of the park. Ed Thompson Inclusive Park. A racist woman attacked my family. She walked into the swinging seat where we were playing and inserted herself into our space. From the beginning, her behavior made us uncomfortable. She then reached over and began caressing my 1-year-old niece's face without permission. Hell no. There's more. Quote, after touching her, she started rocking the swing seat back and forth in a way that was extremely aggressive. Like she was trying to make the baby lose her balance. We calmly told her not to touch our child and rock the seat because the baby could hurt herself. And she told us that's why the thing is for instead of apologizing. She became extremely hostile. She then said she needed to, quote, wash her hands, end quote, because our baby was dirty. Another racist trope, by the way. As an aunt, hearing that broke my heart. No child should ever be described that way. No family should have to defend their baby from racism by a stranger. It continues, quote, she walked away spewing racist words, and I began recording and told her I would expose her behavior to the world, and she was calling the police. That is when the situation escalated. She attacked me, went to her car, and while I was on the phone with 911, she got back out, threw water on my cousin, and physically assaulted her. She then began running around the parking lot, screaming, help, and playing the victim. The police report describes it best. She was an actor. It was awful, end quote. Police arrived. We were told she was cited for 2 counts of assault, but no arrest was made. We will not know for certain until we request and receive the official case report. We are shaken, we are hurt, and we are trying to process how someone could approach a child with that kind of hostility. And it ends by saying, if anyone in Pearland witnessed this or has additional footage or would like to state what they saw, please come forward. There were witnesses who wanted to speak up, but the police didn't take their information, only their statement. We are asking for accountability. Our children deserve to feel safe at a playground. And put a picture back up, Sam. So this is the elephant in the room. In what world do you get to physically assault other people, provide unwanted contact to a child, become disorderly at a public park, and you get a written citation, not arrested? Okay, sharing thoughts here.
Trump world.
Yeah.
It's that world, Trump world. Because it's not a big deal. And Black people should get over it. And this woman should get over it. And the 1-year-old, the sooner she learns what the world is about, should get over it. Be tough, be brave. Every Black woman in the workplace has had similar occurrences where a white, privileged woman has gotten out of pocket, greatly so, been checked appropriately, and went in tears to the corner office. It's never going to stop me still, but that's what had happened. And that's what's going on here. I don't know why we can't just enforce the law, but because the person in uniform or people who showed up really don't think it's that big of a deal and probably think the Black people who called are just overreacting here. Welcome to Trump world.
Yeah, seriously. All right, we'll bring you updates as they develop. Hopefully, ma'am, you're able to get the witness log that you need to prove your case, because obviously having video is not enough in Pearland, Texas. I'm going to go to a quick break. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
Our audience has given us everything, so we couldn't be more connected. When we first started, people would start giving us directions and say, okay, the mics are too large, move them. Turn them into lav mics. I mean, they were incredible. And then one guy walked in and gave us a really expensive switcher and said, you guys need this, and walked out. Okay, it's amazing. They helped us build a studio. They did a $2 million funding campaign for us. And so they really are us. We do this show together to the point where some of our hosts are even former listeners. So when we say that the audience is part of TYT, we really mean it.
I think what the audience also appreciates is especially if they're members, they really get an inside look into who we are, our personal lives, what drives and motivates us. It goes beyond just storytelling. I think that what we do is allow our viewers and our listeners into our daily lives, and we give them kind of like this inside look into everything that we're passionate about and why it is that we're doing what we're doing, right? Like the motivation behind what we're doing, I think is important for our audience to know, and we're not shy about sharing that with them. And it's different from what people typically see in legacy media outlets where everything is kind of dry and robotic and there's really no personality or authenticity that comes along with it. Oftentimes when we're doing the show, I don't really think of it as me telling them stories. I think of it as us having a mutual respect and conversation with one another. And as I said earlier, I mean, not only do I feel that through the work I do, I'm informing our audience, but they inform me oftentimes as well. You know, they'll pitch stories to us. They'll tell us, you know, a certain perspective or angle to a story that we might have missed. And I love it.
right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We have a lot of comments. I will read as many as I can. The first one, that's for you, Sharon. Spider-Man Dragon. Hey, Sharon, I'm single but gay. Can we be girlfriends? Because I think you are right all the time, and we both have sass.
No, I love it. You want to be with somebody who's your best friend, and what you just described or described themselves, best friend material. Send them my way. Send them my way.
I love it.
Does the person like Bad Bunny? Because that's now a requirement too. Just if you could find that out.
I'm going to forward you the information. Producers, forward sharing the information.
Yes. Get along great.
We're going to make the connection happen. Good stuff.
Love
all right,
this
Nightmare
show.
316. Yeah, he touched you, and yeah, that's right. Love 18 White Girl. Karen's go to is attack them. Okay, victim. Yeah. And Nightmare 316 says another playground. Karen, that's correct. Shiny 984. This is so sad. Just let the kids play in peace. Yes, apart. That's right. And V Brown 7436. The camera never lies. Yeah, that's called evidence. And typically can be utilized in an investigation to effect an arrest. Except in Pearland, Texas. All right. There's a teacher, and we've talked about this before. The teachers, the folks that you work with, maybe even the judge that oversees your traffic citation. They may be Trump supporters. They may be MAGA all the way. So here's a student recording his school teacher talking about ICE and justifying their behavior. Here it is.
Our media has slanted it so bad, telling the story, right? That if you saw the video, you could see he warned her. She tried to ram him, right? The same officer had been run over by a car like 6 weeks ago, I think. Okay? So obviously he's a little on edge. You don't know what's happened to them leading up to it. You put yourself in a bad position, so things can happen to you. I'm not saying she should have been shot or killed, but she put herself in that one position. Okay? Yes.
But in the video, it shows that she's trying to like leave the scene, and her tires are like moved a different way, not trying to hit him.
Yeah, the agent that shot him was on the other side. She was driving this way, and the agent that shot him was right here.
The agent was on her side, driver's side. Shot her on the driver's side.
I have more video. All right. So this is a school teacher has been given this amazing and sacred opportunity to influence young minds, to help shape them morally, academically, socially. He decides to take that precious time, teach outside of his discipline, because obviously he's not teaching a course on ICE, to provide cover for a killer. The person who killed, or the ICE agent who killed Renee Good. This is what he wants to spend his time talking to children about, okay? The children, and big ups to the young brother, who obviously is my future leader, decided to record and provide exacting rebuttal with simple fact, not emotion, not belief, factual context. Something that the educator obviously doesn't know exactly how to do by creating a false narrative that Trump doesn't even support. Here's more.
Just come right. Why was she fleeing the scene of her wife, right, or lesbian? If the wife was I'm just stating the fact. If the wife was right there videotaping, why was she fleeing if her wife is outside the car? Why would she flee the scene?
I don't know. I would flee an ICE agent.
What's that?
I would flee an ICE agent, but
she was right there. If she's fleeing, why is she leaving her spouse behind? Right? They told her to get out of the car. They told her, if an officer tells me to do something, I have a better chance of living if I obey the officer. Just saying. Been pretty successful. 58 years. I've been stopped a few times, and I abide by what the officer tells me. And if I have a firearm in my vehicle, which I do because I hunt, I tell them that. But hey, I got a shotgun back there. I'm just letting you know. No surprises here. Like, okay, yeah, let them know. I'm up front with them. I'm not gonna hide anymore. So anyway.
Put up the picture format, Sam. Usually I would provide an exacting commentary to unravel the entanglement of stupidity that the person has spewed. However, in this case, the teacher, I'm sorry to say this, students, but the teacher is doomed. It's over with. Lost cause. Will never be able to return likely. I'm thankful that you all see it. So 2 days after posting that video, the student would also post video of him and his classmates doing an anti-ICE protest. The students of today are obviously our leaders for tomorrow. I'm touched by this story in a way that is it's tough to describe, but I'm not going to spend time talking about the insanity of the so-called school teacher. We already know what's up with that. We can wax poetic. I'm going to take this time to talk about how we're going to be okay because leaders like that, those students in that classroom, no matter what happens, they will not be denied. They will not be denied because one day, they will be empowered as our actual leaders. Right now, they're the leaders in training. And who we are to them today will determine who they are to us tomorrow. And so I take this opportunity to say, thank you. I can actually breathe a little bit because no matter what, one day, dear brother, you're going to be in charge. And I'm okay with that. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Doc, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and the indisputable team for this one because you have provided me, I see it your way, and those watching, those within earshot of a few minutes of comfort for exactly what you just said, the best and the brightest. And while that dump of a teacher thinks of ways to break this young Black student, this young man, as they did in the fields all those years ago, still feels like a plantation, a mental one, educational one. This young man gets it. I loved everything about him, his leadership, his friends, his peers, the protests. So thank you, Doc. I feel like I can breathe. And just real quick, Rosie Perez said this the other day. We should not feel defeated for exactly this reason. We're coming together. They managed to bring some of us who were just going down our own highway together. They've joined us. This is a remarkable testament to what we can look forward to out of all this doom.
There you go. You know, villains have one great redeeming quality. They remind people of why you need to be a hero. And that is how it works. All right. So very thankful for this young man and his classmates. We got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay. Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild.
We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
I'm wearing one of our pieces of merchandise. So the funny thing about the Dragon Squad, and that's what our viewers call themselves. That's the name of the group, but every individual chooses their own name. You might have Cincinnati Dragon. You might have Harry Potter Dragon. We have a Grandma Sunshine Dragon is one of those that I remember. These are people that like to have an element of themselves, their lives, what's significant to them, reflected as a part of the community. But the concept of the Dragon Squad is just something I threw away as a joke. I was mocking the Proud Boys, these like right-wing groups that come up with a name for themselves that they think is cool, but it's actually really lame. And I thought, off the top of my head, I can come up with something that's still kind of lame, but much cooler. And so I threw out Dragon Squad, and I just moved on with my life. But everybody liked it, and so they kept it going, and so we've embraced it. And I think again, this was during the period of the pandemic. I think it was sort of nice to have a renewed sense of community, a feeling that you're a part of something when everything seems so chaotic. And as a result of that, we've got independent artists online streaming, making beautiful digital art of dragons. We've got, we've released a number of pieces of merchandise that people love sending us photos of them. And then, by the way, for me personally, people send me, like you can probably see in the background, like a knitted dragon someone sent me. There's a dragon book they sent me, dragon board games they send me. People have done like custom ironworks, making dragon bottle openers. Like the fans are super invested in diamond art and things like that. And so it's great that they send this stuff. Sometime we're gonna have to set up a wall of all of it. But yeah, it's definitely brought the community a lot closer together. The fact that we were no longer in this big studio, I felt a lot more personally attached to people. It felt very immediate. And I know that I personally needed the connection.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We have a lot of comments. I will read as many as I can. Very thankful. So you got a message, Sharon. So Spider-Man Dragon says, yes, baby bunny is delicious. Okay, we got an answer. I think
love
we made
it.
a connection.
I love that. Perfect.
Thomas to Thomas. If Sharon is accepting friend applications.
I am.
Okay. I am already prepping my best fountain pen to sign up. You don't even need that.
Nah.
Don't even need it. Just
let
put
them know
in-
I do Zoom, Doc, though. I don't really leave the house much. You know that. But go ahead. I apologize.
No, that's actually kind of true. But you are, you love your child, and if they can't work around that system, yeah, you are a genuine article, Sharon.
Oh, you too. Back at you, Dr. Richie. Look at you. Don't blush now. We love you. We love you, Doc.
Love you back. All right, Wisdom Born 68. Yes. These dry bones will live again. We are waking up. Thank you, Doc, Sharon, and the team for your very valuable contributions. And thank you for that. The reference of the dry bones shall live is because of you speaking over them. You speak life into those dry bones. And I think this is Black Ajax. This is why this is why they don't want kids to have phones in school. That's right. You catch teachers slipping. And Spider-Man Dragon says, also, I'm a teacher. We are trained to keep our politics out of the classroom. We're there to teach facts, not the opinions of others or ourselves. There you go. Bernie the Kiwi Dragon, 4382. Don't even try to pretend. He was just helping the students to think critically. Yeah, it requires critical information being presented. That wasn't critical information. It wasn't a difficult assessment. It was a cop killing a citizen, a human being. All right. A black student, an 8th grader who was being bullied, speaks up, and finally things start moving in the right direction. Listen to what he said.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Jefferson McClellan. My address is on file with the clerk, and I am an 8th grader at Gainesville Middle. Tonight I want to talk about a serious issue at my school. Monkey. The only game a white person can beat a black person at is hangman. These aren't jokes. These are misunderstandings. These are racial slurs said directly to me by other students. I have reported this harassment before. Nothing seems to happen, and it keeps happening. Recently, after being told, shut up, I reacted. I hit another student for that. The school acted quickly. I was suspended for 3 days. I'm not standing here saying what I did was right. I'm here asking why. Why when racism is directed at me, the response is slow or silent. But when I react to it, the response is immediate and clear. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking you to stop allowing people to hurt me.
Put up this dynamic leader. Man, I'm so proud of you, brother. I'm thankful for you. You are a world changer. You got greatness written all over you. Keep that picture up. He's standing in a spot designated for adults only. That's where grown people address the school board about different grievances that may be happening. He is standing in the position of an elder in the 8th grade. His context was proper. His morality was intact. He is not asking for special treatment. He is giving the facts, understanding his own responsibility while at the same time maintaining accountability for how they treated him. In Virginia, Jefferson McClellan, an 8th grader at Gainesville Middle School, told the Prince William County School Board in January about the racist abuse he suffered inside of the school. His 8th grader said he is hurt but wanted to speak up so no other students have to experience what he did. Quote, I feel mad that I had to be called that any day or by anyone in my school, talking about the N-word. Quote, I want the next person who looks like me or who is me to feel safe and to feel respected in their school. It could be here, California, any state or any country. I want them to feel like they are respected or safe, end quote, he said. If he was president, we'll be okay. I'm talking about his 8th grade self. If he were president right now, we would be in a far better condition than we are today. His moral clarity, his willingness to think about others. McClellan said he was called the N-word and a monkey among racial slurs. He said the bullying has happened multiple times over the past few years inside of the middle school. This recent time, he said he took matters into his own hands and physically fought back. He was suspended for 3 days as a result. The suspension was eventually reduced to 1 day, likely because they realized he was provoked into reaction, which typically is no, it doesn't work that way. If you aggressively approach someone and start utilizing racial slurs, you don't get to then yell, oh, I don't know where that came from. No, you invoked it. And so they reduced it to 1 day. I believe it's because they realized it was invoked. Quote, it's sad, it's hurtful, he says, and disrespectful that I have to deal with this from middle school to grown up age. It's not going to stop, McClellan said. Quote, if it does stop, it's a miracle. That's a miracle. The world we live in is not going to stop because people can say and do whatever they want without consequences. Just understand, brother, as long as you're here, as long as people like you are in the world, there will be consequences. And part of those consequences is bringing light, bringing exposure, providing a contrast between people like you and people like them. Okay. Prince William County Schools said that they've now met with the student. And they have also met with his family, finally. And they are doing what? They are working collaboratively to support him. You just suspended him the other day. He said this has been happening for years. He addresses the school board, and all of a sudden the word collaboratively is used. Yeah, you pulled your card. You're embarrassed. It's all out now. You're in action. He was subtle but precise. Everybody believed him. And they knew that you all dropped the ball for your negligence. He exposed you. The principal at the middle school is now doing what? Working with the district's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to put together a comprehensive support plan in place. They're also giving special support, real special support to the particular school to navigate incidents involving racial discrimination and harassment. Prince William School said they are now committed to accountability. Yes, fostering school environments where all students feel protected. Put up their leader. Yeah. Him. Can y'all please go ahead and make him chairman of the school board? Do yourselves a favor. All right. Sharon.
They don't.
All of a sudden, everybody gets it now.
Yeah, by collaborate, they meant go through the motions until the spotlight dims some, and they don't. It's not white hot as it is right now. There's no diversity, equity, inclusion there. If there were, if it was a proper office, this wouldn't be happening in the first place for years. This one leaves me conflicted, Doc. I am proud, but also heartbroken. Number one, there's not a white person who was in that room with our future leader, he's leading right now, who doesn't understand what the hell he's talking about. You know exactly what he's talking about, as the great Jane Elliott would tell you, okay? They know exactly what it is. But the part that really leaves me heartbroken, not just for him, and by the way, he doesn't need special treatment, neither does the school. They need you to do the right thing.
Right.
The part that leaves me heartbroken is, I'm a parent of a Black child, so are you. Yep. And we are often forced to raise our kids in this survival mode that, sadly, no fault of our own, it's survival. We're dehumanizing them instead of raising up a sensitive boy into a man who can go out into the world and be empathetic, loving, kind, decent. We have to harden that shell early on because ignorant adults don't know the right thing to do. They know the right thing to do. They're actively choosing not to. It's heartbreaking.
It's an unfortunate lesson to learn this early that you have to make politicians do their damn jobs. Very effective, young man. Very proud of you. All right. Well, we've been saying it. You've been saying it. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, oversees ICE. ICE got to go. DHS got to go. we can't talk about reform. We're talking about abolish. No funding. Doesn't need to exist anymore. Finally, politicians, lawmakers are saying the same. Here it is.
What do you make of DHS making watch lists of American protesters?
You know, I mean, it's deeply disturbing that we have become a surveillance state. I listened to a woman today talk about how, as a Minnesota constitutionalist following ICE, that person was met at their driveway when they pulled up at home by a ICE agent telling them that they were now on ICE's list and being labeled as domestic terrorists. And so this is ongoing in our communities across the country. It's a reign of terror. And we can't afford to continue to go down this path. And that's why we're going to have to abolish ICE. It cannot be reformed. It's going to have to be abolished.
Thank you, Congressman Hank Johnson, my brother and my friend. Congressman Johnson is one of the most remarkable human beings you will ever meet personally. He happens to be an attorney and a former judge in the state of Georgia. He's calling for the abolishment of ICE. They also caught up with Eric Swalwell. Here's what he said.
How comfortable are you with DHS keeping watch lists of American protesters?
I don't trust these guys for 1 second. I wouldn't give them one penny. And the clock is ticking for a Democratic majority. And that's going to put an end to all of this. And that's why I'm just more motivated than ever.
And until
to take these guys off our streets. It's community terror. That's what it is. No Democrat should be funding this terror. The way I see it is the guy said that he would cut prices and instead he's killing people. And I'm not signing off on that.
Not signing off on it. Finally, you're getting it. They also caught up with Representative Derek Van Orden, and he had an interesting response to the whole thing. Here it is.
How comfortable are you with DHS keeping watch lists on American protesters?
Do they have watch lists on American protesters?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not common knowledge, but Ken Klippenstein and some other people have been covering it. Thank you, Congressman.
He walked away like we can't see him being a coward. Okay, let's get into it. So we have been seeing reports that ICE has a secret watch list of Americans, and House Democrats are now saying enough is enough. No more reform talk, no more budget maneuvering, abolishment. First, here are the details of DHS's secret compilation of U.S. citizens on a database, all right? So the Department of Homeland Security has ordered immigration officers to gather identifying information about anyone filming them and to, quote, send that information to Intel, who will do a workup on them. A federal law enforcement official directly involved tells Ken Klippenstein, quote, meaning trying to identify them via social media, running their license plates if available, and running a criminal history check, the official explained. Obviously, extremely illegal, prohibited by the Constitution. Your freedom of speech, your freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, freedom to ask your elected representatives questions, freedom to not have your civil rights violated by law enforcement. All of these are freedom. These are freedom. These are rights. Okay? And the right to not have a government penalize you for exercising your damn rights. Meanwhile, the FBI is monitoring citizens deemed domestic terrorists, and the criteria for it is astounding. So Attorney General Pam Bondi is ordering the FBI to, quote, compile a list of groups of entities engaging in acts that may constitute domestic terrorism. anything to not talk about the Epstein Trump file. Target is those expressing opposition to law and opposition to immigration enforcement. So Pam, you're saying an opinion. So if they have an opinion, that is grounds for your list. Extreme views in favor of mass migration and open borders. Adherence to radical gender ideology. Yes, gender ideology. As well as anti-Americanism and anti-capitalism and let's say anti-Christianity as well. This is an actual quote. You have to laugh, not to cry. You have to laugh, not to cry. Anti-capitalism. Dr. King, who preached a societal gospel of unity, inclusion, and common good, taught something else in that message. It was called dignity. Making sure that people knew they had dignity. The entire campaign from this administration is othering. However, there's a bright light, and that bright light is you. That bright light is Sharon Reed. That bright light are individuals who care enough to say something, who will never go along with this. It's always more of us than them. Just know that. And yes, every generation is responsible for securing and enhancing the rights that they were given, including this generation. And we will live up to the challenge. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
You know, this is how low the bar has been lowered. It's a low bar, this truth meter, but it's worth acknowledging when someone leaps over it, like Congressman Hank Johnson did. And Swole too. He just told the truth. I'm done supporting any candidate who won't tell the truth. If you had a business that performed the way ICE did, it would be done. Not revamped, not modified, done. Over, out. And the fact that Hank Johnson, our esteemed congressman from Georgia, is saying what needs to be said. Look, I expect the Democrats to take over, and I actually expect them to be perfect because they've had more than a decade watching this monstrous wake-up call to know what they better get to work to do. Not for just a little stretch here until another midterm election, but for good. Reorganize this whole pot, this cesspool of nonsense. Get to work. Abolish it. I don't want to hear any more about how, well, you shouldn't name it that. That doesn't really go over well. The marketing campaign on that is not good. Just tell, what I'm fine with just the truth. I used to say that in the newsroom, Doc. Can we just tell viewers the truth? We'll be fine with just the truth, okay? And I think they're going to be smart enough to figure it out.
They can't be afraid of power. Don't beg for power in order to have it for the sake of having it. Don't say it's a doomsday. We give you the power to fix things, and all of a sudden, you don't have enough support. If anything, Democrats should have learned. If you get power again, the only sacred thing left are the voters who gave it to you. That is it. Nothing else. Ain't nothing sacred about that damn White House. There's nothing sacred about your position in Congress. What is sacred is the bond between the people and their trust in you. Make it that simple. All right, Sharon, always great to have you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
At Sharon Reed Live across all platforms. I'm on Substack, and of course, Rebel HQ. Very proud of that channel and just being able to be a part of it. I recorded another installment, so I just want to thank people for supporting it. Please check out my work. And thank you, Doc. You've uplifted me, given me something to think about, many things. And we just appreciate you and value you so much, because without this show, I don't know if, for example, the two young leaders you highlighted would get their just due. I really don't.
Well, it's a team effort. We appreciate you sharing all the time. All right. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.